Welcome to Snap Eats. My name's Brady. Every week on this channel, I show you how to cook better recipes and use better techniques so that you can be a better cook at home. So if you like cooking and you like watching this show, make sure to like and subscribe so we can get this out to more people. On today's episode, I'm gonna be showing you how to sharpen a knife, which is very important. So let's get started. First things first, let's start with this. This right here is not a device to sharpen your knife with, okay? This is a honing rod or a honing steel. And what this does, let me show you what it does. Let's say that this is your knife edge. And over time, as you use this knife edge, it starts to bend on both sides as you use it more and more. And so the purpose of this tool right here is to more or less knock this edge back to being straight. So over time, as you use this knife, very, very fine nicks start occurring. You start wearing down that edge, right? And the more you use it, well, the less sharp it becomes. And so at that point, it doesn't matter how much you straighten this thing out, it's just not gonna cut, which is why you need a whetstone. This, I can put this in the link in the description, is a whetstone that I got off of Amazon. It is 1,000 and 6,000 grit. Let's see if I can zoom in here. 1,000 and 6,000 grit. That's what you are looking for when it comes to just basic knife sharpening. Now you could go further down the rabbit hole and get finer grit, but if you're a home cook, this is exactly what you need, and this is gonna be above and beyond what any of your friends have. First things first, the reason why it's called a whetstone, because it needs to be wet. Put this in water and let it sit for about 10 minutes or until no more bubbles have came out of it. At that point, it's ready to use. We're gonna start with 1,000 grit, and the reason why, it's just like sandpaper. The lower the number, the rougher the texture. And when you're sharpening a knife, we want to start with the rougher texture first. The ideal degree that you're sharpening this knife with is going to be 15 degrees. I just put my thumb right here and then I place it on the stone. And pretty much usually where my thumb comes in contact with the stone and where the edge comes in contact with it is about 15 degrees. Keep in mind that anytime you're doing this by hand, it's not gonna be exact, but the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at finding that perfect angle to get that really nice edge. I'm facing the blade away from me at a 15-degree angle. I'm going to push forward and then apply a little bit more pressure and pull back. And then I'm going to push forward, a little bit of pressure, pull back, move my fingers down. I'm applying the pressure right here with my fingers. Push forward, pull back. I always use a little bit more pressure on the pullback because I'm not trying to drive the edge into the whetstone. This is what it looks like when you're actually doing it full speed here. Once you get that first side done, you're gonna be able to feel what's called a burr. And a burr is that knife edge. Let's go back to this guy right here. The burr is that knife edge, and it is consistently on one side folded over. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go on the other side and we're gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna sort of wear this down a little bit and redo it to where the ideal situation is that you eat up all of those inconsistencies and you have a straight edge again, and then we polish out that straight edge and get it super, super sharp. So you can feel right here where the burrs are. Flip it over And I'm gonna do the same thing except on the other side. Using the full whetstone. What I'm gonna do now, you can see that there's quite a bit of metal on here. I'm gonna go over to my water bath, I'm gonna dip it in and sort of knock some of that off. Now I'm just gonna go back and forth on each side until I've pretty much worn it down to the degree that I want to wear it down, and I've knocked out all of those inconsistencies so you have a nice smooth surface. Depending on how dull your knife is, this could take 5 minutes, this could take 10 minutes, this could take 15 minutes. This is very much like cooking. While you're going through it, you're tasting it, you're checking to see where it's at, what it needs. The same thing with sharpening your knife. You're going through each pass, you're sort of feeling that edge, seeing where it's at, and then you move on when you're ready. Now it's time to do the 6,000 grit. Same thing on this side, same technique, nothing has changed. You'll see on this side, it's a little bit more evident that we're taking metal off. As I get closer to this edge and I feel like it's getting close to being done, I'm using a little bit less pressure and I'm not taking it through as many times. I'm slowly but surely lining that edge up. And there you go. A brand new sharp knife. And let's do a cutting test. What I have right here are 2 serranos from my balcony garden. Here is a knife from the knife drawer. You know what I'm talking about. You know the knife drawer. This has not been sharpened. This is something that you'd probably just pull out for, you know, anybody you dislike, you would pull this knife out for. Ew, okay. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. You see how it's like slapping against the cutting board because it's not cutting it, it's just, you can tell just by what we have going on here, it's smashing. And sort of the only way it's cutting is just because of pressure. That's the only way that this thing is cutting. And it doesn't look too bad, right? But you're not gonna get anything really valuable out of this. If you wanna cook well, you have to have a sharp knife. So you have that as the control group. Here is the second serrano. I like to get my serranos red. I like to keep them on the plant until they turn red. I don't know, I just think it's cooler. This one, by the way, you'll see, I don't know if you can see in the camera, oh yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit softer. It's been sitting on my countertops, it's a little bit wrinkly. So this is gonna be more difficult to cut than the other one because it'll be more likely to smash. So this is gonna be a good test. Smells like warm butter. It's like cutting my cutting board, which I guess is the point, but. Okay. You see the difference here? I'm like cutting paper thin slices. This is like the commercial for that, what is that, a Ginsu knife? This thing is so sharp that it's slicing into the board, which obviously is the point of a cutting board. But look at these paper thin slices that it cut. Let me switch this to camera 1 here so you can see what I'm looking at. There we go. Look at how paper thin this is. And that's what you're going to be able to accomplish when you sharpen your knives. Link is going to be in the description for the whetstone that I use on Amazon, so you can order it, get it shipped directly to you. And if you liked what you saw, make sure to bang on that subscribe button, bang on that like button, or the dislike button. You know, it all counts the same. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next episode.